welcome to Viking Preparedness. I'm Pastor Joe Fox. You know, this thing about us sending 6 companies of National Guardsmen to Ukraine bugs me. My understanding of what's going on in Ukraine, and granted, it could be far from perfect. I don't have access to any classified information. I never was a European guy, anyway. But I'm fairly well read, and I kind of understand how the world works. I have a degree in that. Was this Ukraine, formerly part of the USSR? Then, the wall comes down, the USSR breaks up, Ukraine's a free and independent nation. They have a democratically elected government, and they're not part of the EU, and they're not part of NATO, and they're not part of Russia. They're kind of on their own. And the EU is trying to woo Ukraine to join the Eurozone and that kind of thing. And Russia is trying to woo Ukraine, to kind of hang out with them on their side. And Ukraine's economy starts getting into trouble. And so both sides are saying, hey, Ukraine, here's what we can do for you. And the democratically elected leader of Ukraine, again, I don't remember if he's the president, the prime minister, what, doesn't really matter, the leader, he starts looking at the deal in the EU, the deal in Russia. He starts leaning towards Russia's deal. He likes it better, okay? Hey, this is what leaders do. Well, the West didn't like that, the West led by us, and so we organized a protest, a huge, large, nationwide protest against this guy. Our CIA was in it and, funding it and leading it and prodding it. And so what happens is this elected government official, president, prime minister of Ukraine, gets removed forcibly, almost violently from office, and he has to flee for his life. Where's he going to flee? Well, it was organized by the West. He's no dummy, so he flees to Russia. Okay. Then the powers that be, which was headed up by us, I'm quite sure, put our puppet little guy in charge. And now he's in charge of a free and democratic Ukraine. Well, many Ukrainians didn't like this. And they start protesting and they start fighting. And they're like, you know what? This is crap. We are not going to be part of this EU, this Western system. We want to be part of Russia. And so you guys just overthrew our government, basically orchestrated a coup. We're not playing. We're joining with Russia. We want to be in Russia's sphere. And then, bam, chaos, civil war, that kind of thing starts. And Russia says, well, we're taking Crimea, and the world makes it look like that's a terrible thing. Look at Crimea. Crimea's where the Black Sea Fleet has been based forever. They're not giving that up. It's like us giving up Guam to the Chinese just because the Guamanians say, yeah, we want to be part of China. We're not going to let that happen. Well, the Russians aren't going to let it happen. And oh, by the way, the Crimeans want to be part of Russia. So what's the problem, right? Elected democratic people being able to pick what they want. But, we're two-faced about it. So that's what's going on over there. And we keep prodding this Russian bear. And so now this fight's going on. Is Russia involved? Sure they are. Wouldn't we be if the Chinese kicked out who's ever in charge of Canada right now and put their own puppet in? And things were going on in Canada, wouldn't we try to, help the revolution that started in Canada to kick out the Chinese puppet? We would. They're on our border. So yeah, Russia's helping in Ukraine, and I'm sure they're sending private military, their version of Blackwater's there, and I'm sure their Spetsnaz guys are in there undercover, just like we do with our SF guys. It's all fine. And so it's going on at this level. Well, now we're sending National Guard troops to train Ukrainian, military. Are you kidding me? Do they think we're stupid? First of all, nothing against our National Guard. Most of our National Guardsmen have been to combat multiple times now in the recent decade. Okay, so they're pretty well experienced, but there's no way you can compare our National Guard to our active duty military. And as far as teaching foreign fighters goes, there's no way you can compare our conventional active duty military to our special forces. If we really wanted to train people, we'd send special forces in there. We're sending our, second string. I mean, sorry, National Guard, but, that's what it is. It's our second string, and we're sending them over there to train the Ukrainians. We're not sending them there to train the Ukrainians. We're sending them there. We're probably going to ally them, link them up, align them with Ukrainian units that are then going to get hit because we know what units they're going into, and they're going to throw them into the fray. And oh my, our National Guardsmen are going to get killed by the big bad Russians who are actually involved in this affair that's none of their business in Ukraine. And then the war wagons are going to start, and John McCain's going to be up there doing his garbage. And they're going to say, hey, Russians are killing Americans. We need to get in there. We need to do this, this, and this. The heck we do. We need to stay the heck out of Ukraine. Let Ukraine figure it out for themselves. Quite frankly, I think they should be in Russia's sphere. Ooh, does that make me a communist? No, I'm not a communist. I'm a realist. If I was Putin, I'd want Ukraine in my sphere. Ukraine's not in America's backyard. You know what we ought to be focused on? Mexico. We ought to be sending our military and our CIA and our money to overthrow stuff down to Mexico and take care of that mess, because that is affecting our country. But you know what? This administration is trying to ruin this country. I am convinced of it. They are doing everything they can to hurt our country. So, where's this going to go? I don't know. But I tell you what, if National Guardsmen get killed by Russians, it's going to escalate. How much is Russia, what's their calculus? I don't know. I don't study Russia. I don't understand the Russian mentality. It's not a Western mentality, though. It's an Eastern mentality. And Russia took a big hit in World War II. That's why they want borders. If you ever play that game Risk, the way you play, the way you win is you keep border countries. Russia was invaded, and the Jews aren't the only people who say never again. Russia's paranoid about being invaded. They want their borders secure. If they think we're going to mess with that, what are they going to do? I don't know. I don't know. But you might want to start dusting off your nuclear war survival skills. Get online and look up Crescent Kearney. He wrote the best book on it that I know out there. It's not slick, it's not pretty, but it's called Nuclear War Survival Skills. Look it up. You can get it free online in PDF version. I think you can probably buy it for $20 or something. It tells you how you can take steps with just a shovel and the doors from the inside of your house to survive. Not in style, not well, but survive a nuclear exchange. Could be coming. You might want to have this information, kind of read it now, put it on the shelf, start gathering materials, be ready to go in case you have to. Hey, it's not beyond the realm of possibilities. Start thinking about it. Another thing to add to your preparedness checklist. Yeah. All right. I'll see you out there.